Welcome back to the couch. It's time to take a destination to where I've been before, but not enough times. Well, Vietnam is a beautiful place. Steve Collins is back to talk travel.
Yes,
Welcome
hello
back.
Fred.
Did you have a good time when you went? You went to Vietnam and Cambodia.
Yeah, we had the best time because took my wife this time on one of the.
And you still had a good time.
Yeah, no, she loved it. We didn't want to come back.
I know. I saw the photos.
Yeah, that was fabulous because Vietnam is not only a great destination, but it's really, really cheap as well. So it doesn't hit the hip pocket all that well.
You know, I went many years ago and we made the mistake. We went for 21 days, 3 of us went, and we stayed in Ho Chi Minh City, but we were booked and paid and everything. And then we left for 3 days and went up to Nha Trang, and that was beautiful. So next time I do Vietnam, I'm just going to book 5 days in Ho Chi Minh and then move on from there. Because I know you went up to Hanoi.
What I'm going to talk about today is North Vietnam because, first of all, we flew into Hanoi. Which is the capital city, but we were only there a very, very short time because we went out to Sapa. Now, Sapa is 350 kilometres northwest of Hanoi, and the best way to get there is to take an overnight train, which is pretty comfortable. There it is. There's a train there, and the cabin was good. You have soft carriages, and you got 4 berths. We shared with a Vietnamese couple, but they were really, really nice. And then you get up there, it's overnight, you leave at about 9 o'clock at night, get in at about 5, 6 a.m. the next morning. Then there's an hour's drive to this Sapa where we are now. This is a place called Cat Cat Village, and you will trek everywhere. And we saw the sign to Cat Cat Village and it said 870 metres. That's not far, but it's right down steep, down all these stairs. But when you get there, this is what you find down there in the village. This wonderful, that's a wonderful little waterfall, and those little walkways there for fishing. And there's a much bigger waterfall just down there.
Why is the water dirty?
Well, it's not dirty. It's running water. That's what it is. It's just sediment. That's all it is. There are a couple of the Hmong women. They're the local tribes people. And they do all this artwork. Look at that house. That's a fantastic. Look at I love all the plants, the hanging plants on it.
You're paying $5 million for that.
Exactly
sort of house.
Right. There's my beautiful wife Heather on this rickety old bridge. She was pretty keen to get across there. I think.
Hold out.
And this is a trek I did because Heather was crook, and I went to this valley where they have all these reticulated farms and rice and such. Really, really beautiful.
Have they become really modern since, obviously after
Vietnam basically is modern. When you get up here,
nice.
It's much more traditional because they have these smaller ethnic groups, minority groups. They call
I like that.
It's all backbreaking work. And there's a couple of women from another Hmong tribe. There's about 5 different tribes up there, and that's in Sapa. Oh, that's the Chinese border. That's in Chao Lai. Which is right on the border with China.
You can see the difference, can't you?
Well, you can.
You go from primitive to modern.
Well, no, Lai Chao. I'm sorry, that's the name of the town. That's very modern. But when you get down on the train, it's about an hour up this really curvy mountain road, and you get to Sapa. And when we got there, we had this hotel which is said to have great views. But the trouble is, they get heavy fog up there for 173 days a year, and we were there for one of those days, and it was only our second day that we saw any view at all.
So if someone was planning a trip to North Vietnam, why would they do it? What would they expect to see?
Well, look, why is it different? Well, for a start, it's really, really beautiful countryside. It's very, very scenic. It is a lot more laid back than the cities. I'll show you Hanoi in a minute, but and it's just beautiful. You've got to be a bit fit to do the trekking because you can't go a lot of these places by
fat.
Fit.
Oh well, goodbye.
Yeah, I had problems going to this Cat Village because it was 870 metres downhill, these small stairs, and because Perth doesn't have a lot of hills, and we don't get to exercise those muscles. Walked up. It's easier walking up than it is walking down. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. But it was really worth it. And on the second day, I did that other hike, and it was just beautiful going to these little farms and stuff, traditional farms.
Do they have good accommodation? Because people going there, are they primitive?
Look, now you can do homestays and stuff like that if you wish. But no, we stayed in a pretty decent hotel. It was very comfortable. The food was good.
Expensive, Steve? Or
no, it's all cheap. It's very, very cheap. We paid. When we got back to Hanoi, we got the train back to Hanoi. we paid, and because we're there for our 40th wedding anniversary, I got the honeymoon suite. And it was a honeymoon suite. It wasn't, $60 for the night, and it was fantastic. So Hanoi is the capital, and Hanoi is it's a bustling city. It's a really exciting city. This is Hanoi here. The traffic here is just immense because this is in the old quarter. And this is all very, very narrow streets, and it's a bit difficult to work out where you are. But gosh, it's exciting, and there's that many restaurants here. I did a fabulous food walking tour, which took us to 6 restaurants, which each had different specialities. And it was just, the food there is wonderful. It's so, they just fix things on the street, and these are just the normal street stalls that you find up there. And the people are really, really friendly. It's very, very cheap. It's just a great place to go. I don't know what that's a fashion statement. I don't know what that means. Yeah. I couldn't do it because I don't have enough fringe, unfortunately, but I would have copied it if I could have. And you see these ladies. This is called Beer Street, and this is incredible because all these things there, you sit out on the street and you drink beer. Oh, this lady is making wrappers. No, she's making spring roll wrappers, and I did a cooking class later on and made them. They're actually pretty easy to make. They look difficult, but yeah, we ended up in Beer Street, and what you do is you take a bench outside a restaurant, and we were sitting there having our meal, and then the owner said, "Quick, quick, quick, move!" And they're not allowed to do that. So the cops are coming, so they move you inside and they take all the tables and chairs off the street and they wait for the cops to go.
Oh, it's illegal to be out there.
That was Good Friday. And as soon as they go, they put you all back outside there again. Someone says, "Quick, quick, quick!" And
must be illegal.
Come on back. So, it was hilarious.
It is
but
funny.
Hanoi was, I loved Hanoi. It's just terrific.
Do you know that the funny thing is, nobody would know about these places if it wasn't for people like you? Yeah. Because even when I went to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, I know we're sort of running out of time, but we could probably extend this for a couple of minutes. That should be okay. But when we went, we only knew Vietnam. We didn't get a lot of information. No. Now you just got to look for it. Hanoi is the north, Ho Chi Minh's the bottom.
Yeah, there's a vast difference between both these cities because when you get down south to Ho Chi Minh, that is the economic capital of Vietnam. It's a far richer city. When you get up to Hanoi, that's the political capital. Look, I love them both. Every city we went to, and I'll talk about some of the other places at a later date, but every city we went to was entirely different. And that's what I loved about Vietnam. Very easy to travel through the country. You can take a train. We flew from Hanoi to Hue, which was the Asian capital. And look, the flights cost us an average of about $60 each. It is a really cheap destination.
Incredible.
The food is, for our 40th wedding anniversary, we went to a really, really good restaurant, and it cost us less than $100. And we were drinking all the courses and the wine and stuff like that. It really is. It's a great destination for Australians. The people are very, very friendly. We felt safe at all times, and it's easy to get around.
And you know what? Vietnamese food is so much fresher
and
healthier for you than Chinese. Not all deep fried.
The thing I love about it is they use all these fresh herbs, a lot of herbs we just don't get here, and they use them, and it's just aromatic food. It's not hot food. They don't use a lot of chili, or sometimes they do, but it's not chili hot. It's just, the food is just so fresh, and you don't eat a lot of it at any single time. They eat something like 6 times a day, but they eat small meals.
Tell us again where you've just taken us. What are the
we went to Sapa, which is in the mountains.
S-A-P-A?
S-A-P-A, yeah. A beautiful area. And then we went to Hanoi, which is the capital city, and it's an amazing place. There is so much to do there.
Wonderful.
We walked everywhere because it's a very, very walkable place.
You told me you lost a bit of weight.
Yeah, we were averaging 17,000 steps a day, and we'd just stop and have a coffee or a drink or something like that.
Fabulous destination. Yeah. Steve, what's your website if people want more information?
Steve Collins, travelcorrespondent.com. There we go.
Fantastic. Do you know where you're taking us in a couple of weeks?
I might take you to Cambodia in a couple of weeks because you're going to love that. My son's decided to go there for his birthday.
I want to know about that cruise that you can do in Cambodia.
Okay.
But there's a cruise there that's...
No, there's a cruise down south that touches and goes to Sihanouk.
That's the one,
yeah.
That's Steve Collins, talking travel. Catch up on his website or ours. And we're always welcoming your feedback as well. If you want Steve to go somewhere, you pay for it, he'll go there.
A lot of people tell me where to go.
I bet they do. We'll take a break and come back and talk about some affordable housing which is community-based. The Finney Group are doing it, so we'll talk to Nisha next. Well done.